This is the AOC Sports High School Football Preview Show.
Week 4. We've done it. We've got here to week 4, another high school week of football games here on Friday Night Rivals. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, as we get ready for one of our favorite matchups of all time. We love it, the Battle of Old Shell Road, UMS-Wright and St. Paul's. And game has some more intrigue now that it's a region game, and it's been a long time since we've been able to talk about that, and we'll get to that game. But, you know, Dan, we went into last week's game, McGill traveling up to Saraland, and, you know, we knew McGill had lost a lot. We kept hearing about Saraland, their quarterback. You visited with Jeff Kelly. He told you how much he liked him. He told us here on the pregame show, he's like, Carson Green might be a dude. He's a dude.
He's a dude.
He's a dude in quarterback parlance.
He's got a few dudes around him, too, and I think that was the thing, is just quite simply Saraland overwhelmed McGill with their talent. They just have got really great skill guys, receivers, defensive backs, and then a lot of guys that play really hard and smart. And then when you throw in a quarterback who's not afraid of any moment, not afraid of a play going wrong, he'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Good with his feet, good with his arm on the run. Carson Green was a player that really impressed us, but we were tipped off ahead of time. I mean, when your coach really loves you, that says a lot.
And your coach was a quarterback, and a really successful quarterback. He knows a thing or two about that. So yes, so I mean, Saraland's got the big win over Theodore, and they got the big win over McGill as well. And I think we were all a little surprised. I don't think anybody was surprised that Saraland won the game. I think the point differential was maybe a big surprise to a lot of us there. But McGill's gonna bounce back. You're gonna see them bounce back, but they may not have quite as many of the high-end athletes. Just might be a little bit of a down year compared to what we've seen other years from McGill.
Yeah, and with Saraland having what they had, it was just a bad matchup.
Yep.
But McGill, very well coached, and I know they're going to bounce back.
Yep, no doubt about it. Our old friend Dr. Chris Patton here with us, and you know, so the ACL, like it's an injury that you hear about at all levels. But like one thing, do we hear about it more? Like, does the ACL happen more now, or did we just 20 years ago used to say, oh, he just blew out his knee, and now we just are more technical in referring to it that way?
Well, actually, the ACL injuries are getting more common because younger age children are participating in sports, and older individuals are participating in recreational. So overall, the ACL injuries are getting more common. And now we know more about the anatomy, and with the social media, it's becoming much more talked about.
And we were talking a couple of weeks ago about, it's like sometimes the athletes are so strong, like maybe thigh, quad, so strong, like it's too much for the knee, or the knee strength doesn't match up with maybe some of the other strength?
Right, you got to really work on core strengthening is one of the things in ACL injury prevention. And so as we learn more about the anatomy and how to prevent injuries, then we know to core strengthening and getting stronger in the right areas.
So a couple of things, like one, it looks like the surgery, and I'm a few years short of my medical degree, but it looks like the surgery has changed. Like you don't see the huge scars like you used to, but then also the recovery time, you saying as a doctors you know more about, like the recovery time seems to have, I mean, we're amazed sometimes at how soon we see an athlete back on the field after an ACL surgery.
Right. Well, as the technology's got better, we can use smaller incisions that helps reduce pain. Now, there's still you need to heal, and the body has to have time to heal, and the 6 to 9 months of a rehab. But there's less time with painful recovery because smaller incisions and better technology.
And you talked about sometimes as we get older, like we'll just do something dumb in the yard and do something like it's not even athletic. Like sometimes just you see it every day, I'm sure, like a fluky adult type injury that causes a tear of an ACL.
You can. I've had people step in a hole in the yard, they didn't see it, and injure their knee and tear their ACL. There's a lot of things. Even going with their child to the birthday party on the trampoline can end up causing injuries.
So core strengthening, you talked about that as especially the athletes, but like for those of us that are just adults, like is there any kind of thing we should be thinking about? So maybe Doc's saying don't do yard work. Like don't do yard work. Honey, do you want me to blow out my ACL this weekend? Stay off the trampoline. Besides that, are there other things that knuckleheads like Dan and I could think about?
Well, I think overall aerobic strengthening and aerobic conditioning, and then overall strengthening can help, but you got to work on your core.
That's it. We need to work on. There's a lot of things we need to work on, but that's it. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Always fun to talk with our friends from AOC and talk about ACLs tonight. We'll come back. We'll talk about our matchup here on Friday Night Rivals. UMS traveling all the way up Old Shell Road to take on St. Paul's tonight here on Friday Night Rivals. Oh, here we go. Week 4 of the high school. Oh, all the best stories are always right when we're coming out of commercial break.
You just missed one by that much.
Oh, head coach Terry.
That was my first year.
UMS-Wright Bulldogs and Trey Singleton, quarterback, who is causing him no angst like the story that Terry.
No.
So during the pandemic, I'm cleaning out my office, and this is just how long we've been doing this. So I find this. Do you even know what one of these are? He doesn't even know what one of these are. So this is the 2002 UMS-Wright football playoffs on a tape here. And then I don't know why you weren't there, but I found this too. And it was August 28th, 2004, the Pepsi Classic, Hoover and Daphne. Remember you and I did that game?
Yeah.
Outside at Daphne on the press box, hot as could be. Like.
Thanks for choosing your words.
Yeah, remember how?
Yeah, I was.
What was it? Even as late as 05, we did the games. We said, how much it costs to do every game?
Yeah,
remember that?
And
y'all traveled with us to Demopolis and everywhere.
And I just remember we're gonna make it done. Yeah,
Bulldog Network.
Demopolis, Thomasville. We went all over back in the day. But we've been doing that for a long time. Rush Probst and would Vic have been the head coach then, or was at Daphne, or was Savarese maybe the head coach?
That would have been Savarese, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as we get ready for tonight's matchup, UMS 2-1. So don't want to dwell on it. So the winning streak comes to an end with the Mobile Christian game. So I would have to think kind of a bit of a crazy week. Y'all had some challenges coming into the season, COVID, all that. So then you have the game. So you have a little bit of the emotion there, but then you got to turn around and play a Thursday night game against a good LaFleur team. I mean, it had to be a challenging week all the way around to get.
Well, it was about like a preseason week. You can ask Trey. It was about the second or third week because we had missed that week as far as so we made it up that week before LaFleur. We scrimmaged Sunday. We scrimmaged Monday. Ooh. We were getting ready to find who wanted to play, who didn't.
Coach wasn't happy. Just going to go out on a limb here. Coach
we got beat, but a lot of it had to do with us too. So,
but was okay. So with a little bit of that, maybe just a perfect storm of like timing coming together, missing the week early, and just going up against a good football team. And was it kind of just a bit of maybe not taking anything away from Mobile Christian, but a bit of a perfect timing of bad events for you?
Well, not really. I mean, we put a lot into the game, and they beat us. And the way it ended up, the way we lost at the end with a 2-point conversion, the fake punt, just some things that we had done during the game we don't usually do, and that just kind of frosted me. So I let the coaches have it Saturday, the players have it Sunday. And Monday we went after it again. So, I think it helped. We got back to the fundamentals. We got back to doing the things that we do and not overlooking a lot of things. I think sometimes you win that many games, you do get complacent. Your kids get complacent. It's hard, to take a lot of stuff seriously. But, nothing against Mobile Christian. They had a lot to do with that too.
Sure. And as long as we've known you, though, early season is one thing, but it's all about to be playing your best football at the end of the season.
Well, it's about the region games.
Yeah.
And we kind of took those 2 games as preseason games. We got shut down a week before we played. That's usually a big scrimmage week, so we wasn't able to do that, and all. So, we were a little bit behind, but, no excuses. We got beat, and we'll move on.
Trey Singleton, your quarterback here with us, and you were talking about him earlier, and just sometimes you have kids that are just gamers, and maybe they're not the 6'4" prototypical quarterback or whatever, but like they always find a way to make plays. They do what you want to do. I mean, I know he is one of those quarterbacks that has really kind of fallen into the type of quarterbacks that you love to have playing for you.
Well, without a doubt, I've tried to get somebody to beat him out for 2 years, and he's just he's a winner. He don't look great doing it sometimes, but he finds a way to make plays when you need plays. The guys gravitate to him. He plays hard. He can run the football. He's a tough kid, and he makes up for a lot of things that he may not have as far as the arm and those sort of things with knowing how to win.
Yep.
And he's won, 16 out of 17 games, and, that's not bad for anybody. So I'm glad he's on my team.
Talk about the leadership role, Trey. Beyond just being a player on the team, obviously you're in a very much a leadership role. You've got this team around you. You know all these guys. You've known them for years, and yet your position is different among them. What's that like?
A lot different from last year. I wasn't a leader probably week one, in my opinion, but especially after Mobile Christian, I decided I needed to definitely get it going and try to be more vocal with the young backfield. Like we got new starting fullback and running back, and they're good players, but they sometimes don't know where to line up, and I'm trying to help with that. And every time our line's doing good, trying to get them pumped up at practice, just trying to get as much energy as we can.
I can tell you, we enjoy watching you play.
Yeah.
We really do.
Absolutely. And this is always a fun week.
Yeah.
And the history and the rivalry between, St. Paul's. The fact it's a region game, it certainly there's that, but it doesn't matter. It's UMS and St. Paul's, right?
Yeah.
So what are you feeling as you get ready for the week?
I think we've had a good week of practice so far. Feeling good. I think we cleaned up a few things today, but overall, I think a lot more energy than we've had. Past 2 weeks look good.
They're a good football team. Your buddy coaching them. You're a good football team you're going to see out here tonight.
Well, we're going to see more than a good football team. They got a lot of players, and 21 scares you to death. I said earlier today, he's just not just an unbelievable player, but you can tell the kids gravitate to him, and he's the kind of player you want on your team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem like it matters to him where he plays. Doesn't matter if he's getting the ball or not getting the ball. You've got to account for him.
That's not always the case with a super talented guy, is it?
Well, no. Most times it's not.
Yeah.
And for him to do the things that he does for that team, he's the key. They got a lot more good players. I'm not saying that, but it's hard not to get watching film and sit there and watch him play because he does it for what it looks like. Now, I don't really know the kid, but it looks like he's doing all the right things and handling things the right way, like you want a leader on your team to do.
It's amazing what jumps off a tape at a coach watching it. I mean, they just see it. They see it differently.
That's quite a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about that with Coach Mask. We'll have Coach Curtis and Coach Mask back here for the last segment as well. Trey, great to meet you. Stay safe. We will talk all about you tonight during the game. St. Paul's and UMS tonight on Friday Night Rivals. The battle on Old Shell Road, region style tonight. Kickoff comes up in about 15 minutes. We'll hear from Coach Mask coming up right after this. Friday Night Rivals here at AOC Sports as we get ready for our matchup tonight on Old Shell Road. 5A matchup, number 2 St. Paul's playing host to number 8 UMS-Wright. A 5A region game. Head coach Steve Mask of the Saints here with us. Drew Turnipseed, linebacker, senior for the Saints here with us as well. And Coach, you're 3-0, off to a really good start. And I know obviously when you're 3-0 you're happy, but I think there's some things on your team that you're maybe even maybe feeling a little better than you thought you maybe would 3 weeks into the season.
Well, I thank you for that, Jim. I think we're a little further along defense than I thought we would be at this point, which has been very, very encouraging. And we've played pretty good defense all 3 games, and then offensively, the strength of our team I felt going into it was our offensive line, and they played pretty well. And then we had a couple of new tailbacks we've had to break in, and they played pretty good. And then Beshman McFadden is a senior starter for the first time, so we had a few hiccups along that the first 3 weeks, but overall, kicking game's been good. So after 3 games, you got to be pleased to be 3-0.
I've been to where you practice. That's like one of the hottest places on the planet next to Death Valley. I don't know how you pull that off. What do they call it?
The skillet.
The
skillet, right.
The skillet, yeah, where many young men have melted.
And old fat guys.
Talk about your team's toughness and how they made it through COVID and through all the preseason, because I know you worked those guys really hard on that field.
The thing that was impressive to me, Dan, was when we came back, it was almost like a family reunion. We hadn't seen anybody in so long. We'd done some Zoom things and phone calls and that kind of thing, but when they came back on June the 8th, everybody just fell in line, and tried to follow the guidelines as best we could and didn't complain and knew that we had a lot of catching up to do. So I think the character of a lot of high school players, not necessarily just at St. Paul's, it was tested in that resolve. And I think that's one reason why you're seeing teams have a really good time playing football right now.
Yeah. And just before we get, like kids being able to play football, like that's really important, isn't it? I mean, and I don't mean that because we live in a football-centric place, but it's really important.
Well, it's important in the fact that they're going to hang out somewhere. You know, for anybody that thinks for a minute if we're not playing high school football on Friday night, that everybody's going to be at home watching Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. So they're going to be out doing something. And so, it aged me. And so, you know, they're going to gather. So why not gather them in a place where you can put them in an environment that you can make as safe as possible, and the experiences of playing high school football. And I couldn't imagine our seniors going through what the poor seniors had to go through last spring. They lost baseball, they lost track, and girls softball. That was traumatic, and I don't think people realized how traumatic it was for those kids. And so there's been a lot of talk about the physical well-being, but the mental well-being is just as important. So I think that's why you're seeing the fall sports be as lively as they are, because people are just glad to have it.
Yeah, we're glad to have it too.
And need to have it.
Yep.
Drew Turnipseed is a senior linebacker, and I know you've got some college plans that may include engineering, which is pretty amazing. Talk about this team, what you've seen from this team in the midst of everything you've had to go through, and as Coach talked about, that family reunion feeling when you guys finally get back together.
Yeah, well, as a senior class, this whole COVID thing has kind of slingshot us into a leadership spot. We know that this could be gone at any moment, and that we really need to do the best we can to make sure it doesn't. And that's why you see us playing so hard every week. We know, like, this game could be our last game, and we're making sure everybody's spreading out on the sidelines. Even during practice, we're yelling at them, like, space out, put your mask on, and we're doing the best we can. We're kind of taking a leadership role, and there's no man out. Everybody's got to do their part.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, we talk about this pandemic, and like we always talk about, like, we all need to do our part. We all need to do our part to wear a mask, be safe. And here you got kids that are not just doing that, because that just doesn't go away when they leave the football field. Like, it's a life leadership lesson that they're taking away from this as well. I think that's really, really cool. UMS week. So what's it mean to you? Because we talk about so many times, kids know each other that they're playing, but I mean, everybody knows each other on the field coming up tonight.
It's a great relationship. These two senior classes from St. Paul's and UMS, we really like each other. We've been talking a lot of trash to each other, but it's all fun and games. When it comes down to it, it's whoever hits the hardest and who plays the hardest. There's a lot of nerves going into the game, but we're all really, really excited and we're ready to play.
So, you and Terry have a most special relationship. I mean, such almost like brothers, I would say. And you don't even, there's coaches that'll, if they're going up against a real close friend of theirs, like the week they just maybe don't interact with. Like, nothing changes between you and TC, UMS, and St. Paul's week. I mean, you're the same guys, whether you're playing each other or not playing each other week in, week out. I think that's really special.
I think that's special, and I think the relationship that the kids have with each other is special. And make no mistake about it, from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, there's nothing special about that at all. But, I think that's the life lessons that we're talking about here, that you compete. You compete to have the best wine store in the country, and we compete to have the best football team in the state. And there's nothing wrong with competition,
right?
As long as it's healthy competition and it doesn't get dirty and it doesn't get ugly. That's not good for anybody, and you're not teaching these guys anything. If Terry and I had a good relationship, what are we teaching these guys?
Right.
We're not doing them any favors at all. So I respect the rivalry. I think I said something about it earlier today. When you look at 41 games and they've won 21 and we've won 20.
Yeah,
that's a rivalry.
Because there's schools that are, there's teams that say we have a rivalry.
Right.
Well, when the series is 31-5, it's really not.
Go to the dictionary and define rivalry. Right?
One quick thing I want to say too, because I think it's important. Like, so I'm a big NFL fan, and I've been really impressed at what the NFL's been able to do to have football, because those players go home at night, so their families have to be buying in as well. So these kids, they're doing everything they should be doing at the school, but their families, their parents, everybody else, like it's everybody buying in so that we can do what we want to do, like in our case on Friday nights.
Well, Drew had a very point there when he said you don't ever know what's going to be taken away from you. And that's the thing that as coaches we've harped on in the past, before we had COVID. You play your last play like it may be your last, because God forbid you could tear an ACL.
Right.
You know, and so now I think there's a new understanding. Not only could you get hurt, it could all be taken away from you. And so I think the appreciation's there, and we're very grateful to the state and to the state superintendent and everybody involved to give us a chance to prove that we can do this thing right. And the credit goes to the kids because they do police each other,
and it's
big time.
And it's working. And it is.
For the most part, it is.
Fans are working. I know the crowd's going to be small tonight because that's the way it has to be. Going to be big numbers watching the game on TV. So smile on the camera a lot tonight, too, when you're making those tackles. Stick around. Coach Mask will be here. Coach Curtis will wrap things up. We're about 10 minutes from kickoff tonight. UMS and St. Paul's right here on Friday Night Rivals. Two of our favorite coaches and two favorite coaches of each other, Steve Mask, Terry Curtis. UMS and St. Paul's, always one of our fun rivalry games we get to do here on UTV 44. So at the end of the show, we've done lots of things. Terry's been here before, so he knows now it's like it, love it, or steer clear of it. Dan Brennan, blue cheese.
Steer clear.
Steer clear.
Big time.
Steer clear? Steer clear, too. Disgusting. Awful.
Well, I don't know if it's
Hate
disgusting.
it. Can't stand it. Reggae music.
I like it.
I can take a little Marley.
Time of the day or the time of the year, the right place.
What time of the night?
Put an ice
of the
pick
night.
in my
Time of night.
ear.
Good
I
stuff.
can't stand it. As much as I like going to the islands, I don't like it. All right, two-part question. Chicago Bears over 7.5 wins this year.
I like it.
Like it.
I don't like it.
I love it.
Trubinsky's still the quarterback, right?
Like 100. I love it like 100 times, Terry Curtis.
Yeah.
Bears getting 3 at the Lions this weekend.
Do you call Trubisky a quarterback?
Stop it. Bears getting 3.
I like it.
Nope.
I'm taking the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
If I was to do anything like that.
Exactly. Me too. Same way. Watching birds in your yard.
Yeah, I do that.
Disgusting.
I'm just watching birds. Like, I feed them.
You got to get a
Bill
line.
Howes, I know my dad says, what are you going to do when you
Hey,
retire?
you tell this guy,
St.
here's
Paul's,
been off way too long.
UMS coming up next on Friday Night
You got to
Rivals.
get a line, brother.